Hi everyone, welcome back to the Property Finance Podcast, and today we're carrying on our series of frequently asked questions, joined by Adam Powell again, and today we're going to talk about bridging versus buy-to-let, because something we get asked all the time is, can I use a buy-to-let mortgage for a refurb?
Well, yeah, there's an often asked question is, wouldn't it be cheaper to get a buy-to-let mortgage? Yes, it is, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the right solution for this particular project they're looking to do. For any number of reasons, especially if they're going for a refurb or they're going to go for planning, it'll cause huge issues if they take out a buy-to-let mortgage.
And there's a few reasons why it's going to cause an issue as well, isn't there? Because not only have you got potentially large exit fees, so early repayment charges, potentially sometimes 4-5%, but actually there's normally clauses within the mortgage.
Yeah, they could be in breach. They could be in breach of the terms. In which case I've come across this before, where literally the client purchased the property, got planning to do a massive refurbishment on the existing property with extensions, and also build in the back garden another unit, and we didn't sort out we said, look, you need a bridge initially, then get a development facility afterwards.
Yeah.
He went off and got himself a buy-to-let mortgage. We didn't sort that out for him. And he came back to us, I think it was within 12 months, and he was panicking an awful lot because the buy-to-let lender had actually found out what he'd done.
Yeah.
Which put him in breach. And
there's two main things you can breach on, aren't there? There's the first one, which is that most buy-to-let lenders have a clause to say that the property has to be tenanted within a certain number of days. So whether it be 45 days, 60 days, whatever, from the time you take that mortgage, you've got a set period of time to have that property tenanted in. If you're not, you're in breach of conditions. But the second one is also that they tend to have a condition in there or clause in there that says you can't do a certain amount of work, or you can't do X, Y, Z. You can't remove the kitchen, can't remove the bathroom,
because it's their security at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly that.
You start knocking the security around, it's going to reduce in value, and that they'll have
increase your
loan
to value, and therefore put you in breach of the loan to value covenant.
So it's important that that's one aspect.
Yeah.
The other aspect is some of the properties that clients go for are unmortgageable by definition.
Yeah.
They won't be able to get a buy-to-let mortgage because it may be missing a kitchen or bathroom, and
they're shocked then when the valuer goes out and nil values it as unsuitable security.
It will be unsuitable security. So again, that's where a refurb bridge would be more appropriate.
Yeah.
And then of course you've got the speed aspect, where, again, if it may be an auction purchase, forget a buy-to-let mortgage if it's an auction purchase.
Well, most buy-to-lets are taking 2 to 3 months at the moment, minimum.
Minimum. That's not going to be an appropriate product.
No.
And also there could be a contracts race. There could be a contracts race. Again, a buy-to-let mortgage isn't going to be
quick enough to get through.
Yeah, just isn't.
And I think it's worth mentioning, playing devil's advocate a little bit, in that there are some buy-to-let products that will allow refurb as long as it's done within 30 days, 45 days, whatever, as long as they're fully aware of the works that are done up front, as long as they're aware of X, Y, and Z. But they are very few and far between, and also heavily reliant on, within that 45 days, being able to do a full refurb, being able to get a tenant in place, et cetera, et cetera. But then you're also tied into potentially a mortgage for the next 2 years, 2-year fixed, 5-year fixed, whatever. You've done a refurb and essentially tied all your equity up.
Yeah, because
for 2 to 5 years.
The client is funding the refurb on
Yeah.
that. So it's, don't get me wrong. If a buy-to-let mortgage works for a particular project, then absolutely fine.
Yeah,
but in most
people
cases,
don't work out the full cost, do they?
No,
they don't look at.
In most cases, that's not the case.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons we just discussed.
Yeah, because at the point of recording this, I mean, the cheapest buy-to-let rate out there at the moment is probably 4.5%, maybe 5% at the moment on a limited company buy-to-let. There may be some at 3.5%, 4%, but the arrangement fees are ridiculous. Sort of 4-5% arrangement fees. So if we talk about one that's at 4.5% potentially, you're then also talking about an early repayment charge on a 2-year fixed of 4-5%. So if you took that bridge for a year with the plan of, right, okay, I'll do the refurb and then I'll refinance in a year to get the equity out that I've spent on it. Well, you're talking about spending 10% just there plus arrangement fees. You're probably going to be at 11-12% on that buy to let anyway.
Yeah.
Well, then you compare it with a bridge and you go, well, actually a bridge is probably the same cost, you're stuck on that bridge for a year, maybe longer potentially. Whereas a bridge, you're in, out, refinance.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't
the experienced property investors know that. So
they work out the cost alongside each other, don't they? They sit and they work out the cost of a bridge, they work out the cost of a buy-to-let, and 9 times out of 10, actually, there isn't enough of a cost saving on a buy-to-let to actually make it.
Especially if they only want it for 6 months, they're just doing a simple tart and turn. They're basically going to go in there, do a refurb, and then sell it straight away.
Yeah.
So a buy-to-let mortgage perhaps wouldn't be the most appropriate product.
No, most buy-to-let lenders as well, if they do a mortgage and then 6 months later you've got it on the market to sell, they're going to get a bit confused and concerned is probably the way. And it affects future mortgageability as well, because that lender then has you on record as being someone who's maybe not using their products in the most appropriate way.
Yeah, I think the bottom line is when we're speaking to clients is what are they looking to do? What are they trying to achieve here? What's the short, medium, and long term plans for this particular property? And then we sort of structure a solution for them and hold their hand if necessary. And listen, if they absolutely insist that they want to buy-to-let mortgage and we don't think it's appropriate, we may just say, do you know what? That's not one we can actually recommend or move forward with.
Yeah. And if they decide to then go and find one themselves, then that's fair enough.
Absolutely fine.
But from our point of view, we
want to make sure it's the right scheme, the right product.
That's it. And we have to protect ourselves as well, don't we, as brokers, to make sure we're giving the right, I call it advice is the wrong word, but the right guidance for clients. And if a client is adamant that they have a certain way they want to go, then that's fine. We will respectfully decline to move forward with that and allow them to. And if it works out, we're not the kind of brokers who will turn around and be envious that it's worked. If it's worked out for them, fantastic. We're glad it's worked out. Likewise, if they do that way and it doesn't work, we're not going to play the "we told you so" card. It's very much a case of, right, okay, you've tried something, it's not worked out, come back to us, we'll help you. And then next time they go and do it, hopefully they'll then realise the advice that we've given or guidance we've given is the correct, and they won't make that same mistake again. But I think if people want to go down that route, like you said, as long as the lenders are aware of it, they're made aware upfront of the refurb that's taking place, and it can be done within that 30 to 45 days and tenanted in that time as well, because that's really the key to it, is that this clause normally has a tenancy clause of that tenant's got to be in within a certain amount of time. As long as they can do that, then fair enough, run with it and see what you can do. But I think for a lot of the clients we see, it's larger scale refurbs. It's not just as you mentioned earlier, a tart and turn. It really is, we're going to rip the kitchen out, bathroom out, etc., etc. All of which are 9 times out of 10 breaches of those mortgage conditions. Yeah.
As you mentioned in that example before, when we presented the options to that client as far as a proper development solution, etc., once he got planning, but he went off and did his own thing, and that did sting him. Yeah. But at least, he came back to us. Yes, his tail was slightly between his legs, but he appreciated the fact that we did tell him. Yeah,
and we were there to help him. We didn't play we told you so card. Yeah,
no, we didn't do the told you so card, but we were there to sort of help him, or dig him out of the situation that he sort of put himself in.
Amazing, brilliant, very insightful. Thank you very much to everyone watching and listening. Thank you very much. Catch you on the next one.